At 61, the tragedy of Keanu Reeves is beyond heartbreaking. At 61 years old, Keanu Reeves stands as one of the most recognizable faces on the planet, yet few truly understand the quiet tragedy that shadows his life. This is not the story of a fallen star, but of a man who survived when he wasn't sure he wanted to. A man adored by millions, yet shaped by loss so deep it never fully loosened its grip. And the question lingers from the very start: how does someone so loved by the world carry so much pain alone? Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2, 1964, in Beirut, Lebanon, a place already steeped in history and instability. His childhood was anything but steady. His father disappeared early, his family fractured, and home was never one place for long. He moved from country to country, school to school, always the outsider, always trying to fit into a world that seemed ready to move on without him. Even as a boy, there was a softness to him, kind, observant, deeply sensitive. The kind of sensitivity that would later make him a brilliant actor and quietly break his heart. Dyslexia made school a struggle. Authority never sat well with him. He wasn't the loud kid or the troublemaker. He was the one sitting in the back, watching, absorbing. Acting became his escape, not because he wanted fame, but because it gave him somewhere to belong. When Hollywood finally noticed him, it felt like a rescue. Speed, Point Break, and eventually The Matrix turned him into a global icon. Money, fame, admiration, it all arrived fast. But what people didn't see was how little of it he kept for himself, and how much he gave away, quietly, without cameras or headlines. Why does someone who has everything live as if none of it truly belongs to him? Behind the scenes, tragedy waited patiently. In the late 1990s, Keanu found love with Jennifer Syme. It wasn't a Hollywood romance filled with red carpets and interviews. It was private, hopeful, real. They were expecting a child, a daughter they planned to name Ava. For a moment, life seemed to soften. Then, without warning, everything collapsed. Ava was stillborn at 8 months. The silence that followed wasn't just the absence of a baby, it was the death of a future. Grief entered their home and never truly left. Their relationship couldn't survive the weight of that loss. And just when it seemed the worst had already happened, fate struck again. In 2001, Jennifer Syme died in a car accident. Just like that, the woman he loved was gone too. 2 lives lost. 2 futures erased. And Keanu was left standing in the aftermath, asking questions no one could answer. How much loss can one person endure before something inside them disappears? Around the same time, his best friend River Phoenix had already been gone for years, lost to an overdose in 1993. River wasn't just a friend, he was family. Someone who understood him, who shared his world. With River gone, Jennifer gone, and his child gone before she could even take a breath, Keanu's life became defined by absence. Fame continued to rise, but joy seemed to recede further and further away. There are images that circulate online. Keanu sitting alone on a park bench, staring into nothing, eating a sandwich in silence. People turned it into a meme, calling him Sad Keanu. But those photos weren't a joke. They were a glimpse into a man who never learned how to stop grieving, only how to live with it. Why does someone who could be anywhere choose solitude instead? He once said that grief changes shape, but it never ends. That love doesn't disappear when someone dies. It just has nowhere to go. Those words weren't rehearsed. They were lived. Even at the height of his success, Keanu avoided excess. He took public transportation. He gave away massive portions of his earnings to crew members and charities. He lived modestly, almost as if he didn't believe he deserved more. Or maybe he understood something most people don't, that none of it lasts. Yet, despite everything, he didn't turn bitter. He didn't harden. He became gentler.
Kinder.
More human. The pain didn't destroy him. It reshaped him. And maybe that's the most heartbreaking part of all. That his warmth, humility, and empathy were forged through unimaginable loss. At 61, Keanu Reeves isn't defined by scandal, arrogance, or excess. He's defined by survival, by love that outlived death, by wounds that never fully healed, and by the quiet courage it takes to wake up every day and keep going when life has taken almost everything from you. So when we see him smile, or laugh, or bow respectfully to fans, what are we really witnessing? A movie star? Or a man who learned how fragile happiness is and chooses to protect it by living softly? And maybe the real tragedy isn't what Keanu Reeves lost, but how many people are walking through life just like him, smiling on the outside, carrying silent heartbreak no one ever sees.